I first started to notice that I had a problem because I couldn't get my hand in my pocket to get the front door key. And so after time, it was getting progressively harder. And I thought this must be just something like something that a physio could sort out. And then he asked me the killer question, of course, has anyone in your family ever had Parkinson's? And that really did frighten me.
They asked me why I was shaking. I said, well, I've got having loads of coffee. And she said, no, it's more than that. I think you should get checked out. And that's where my journey started. I was finally diagnosed in 2017. It was devastating for my wife. She suffered with mental health issues because of it.
Parkinson's disease is a long-term condition that can affect many different aspects of how the body moves and how it functions. It's mainly caused by a reduction in a chemical in the brain which is called dopamine, which has an important role in controlling movements. Parkinson's doesn't look the same for everyone. It can affect both younger and older people, and also the symptoms can vary widely. Whereas some people might experience mainly the shaking and the tremor, others might notice other symptoms such as a slowness of movement, a reduced facial expression, or a softer and quieter voice. What we see often in the earlier stages, that symptoms are manageable with one or more medication, which are often taken by mouth, or sometimes we also give them absorbed through the skin in what we call a transdermal patch, very similar to how a nicotine patch works, for example. What we see over time is that people often need a combination of more treatments and different treatments to help manage their symptoms. And we can see that often their medication schedules can become quite complex. As the disease progresses, these medications may take longer to work and they may not last as long as they did before. And this can then lead to something we call motor fluctuations, whereby symptoms can go up and down throughout the day, which can make daily life more unpredictable and challenging.
My 12-year-old son, he likes football, he likes running, and I just couldn't do any of that. I gradually got worse and worse and worse and worse until I was suggested that I'd be a good candidate for the pump. And the rest is history.
When oral medications are no longer providing consistent symptom control, we begin to explore other treatment options. These are known as infusion therapies. One such option, which has been in use since 2010, involves delivering levodopa directly into the small intestine via a tube which is inserted through the stomach. This method provides a steady dose of medication throughout the day. And for many people with advanced Parkinson's, it has significantly reduced the burden of their symptoms, for example, motor fluctuations, but also improvement in sleep quality. And it's also helped to manage other sort of movement-related symptoms in a much more effective way than with oral medication.
This procedure is done under sedation in endoscopy unit, and it takes approximately an hour and a half. A thin tube is placed through the stomach and into the small intestine. The tube is connected to a small pump worn on a belt, vest or shoulder sling, and a medication cassette that is changed daily. Your medical team program 3 possible dose settings. The first being the morning dose, a boost of a higher dose to get you on quickly after waking up. The second being the continuous dose, a steady flow of medication throughout the day, reducing the likelihood of off period. And finally, the extra dose, a boost dose you can self-administer by pressing a button if you have any unexpected symptoms. The levodopa medication is continuously delivered to the intestine and absorbed into the bloodstream. Once in the bloodstream, levodopa crosses the blood-brain barrier in the brain. It is converted to dopamine, which help alleviate Parkinson's symptoms. Recovery and dose finding usually take 2 to 4 days.
When I first put the pump on, it took me about an hour for the effects to work. The improvement was I had no tremor, no gait. It felt really good. I've got a life now. I could do everything. I was able to drive up here without anybody, without my wife. I've taken up aerial photography now. I fly a drone. I couldn't do any of that before.
One of the most significant recent advances is the ability to deliver levodopa continuously through the skin using what we call a subcutaneous infusion with a treatment which we call produodopa. Produodopa has been in development for over a decade and is now available for clinical use.
A small needle or cannula is placed just under the skin subcutaneously, typically in the abdomen or the thigh, and is delivered by a compact wearable pump. The rich blood supply under the skin rapidly absorbs the medication into the bloodstream, bypassing the digestive tract. Once in the bloodstream, the drug travels to the brain, helping to reduce OFF period and improve motor function. For this delivery, no surgery is required. There's no need for internal tube placement. It's usually started in a hospital day unit or outpatient setting.
The actual procedure for using this was really very straightforward indeed. I mean, it's just a miracle, really, to think that these peaks and troughs are going to be done away with, and you just have to put this thing on. And it was very easy to put on, no difficulty at all. I'm so used to taking medication that I was a bit anxious at how this was going to work, and it's now working perfectly. So I'm feeling much, much better. I feel psychologically very good, and I also feel physically very good.
The referral process begins with an assessment by the Advanced Infusion Therapy team. This will include a comprehensive evaluation which will be conducted with you and, where appropriate, your partner or your caregiver. The team will start by reviewing the findings that are available to determine whether you meet the clinical criteria and which of the therapies is most suitable for you. Your preferences will be taken into account, but the recommended treatment will be based on medical eligibility. Further consultations may be required to finalize your medication plan, and once confirmed, you will be scheduled for therapy initiation. On the day, the clinical team will review the process with you and ensure all your questions have been answered.
I walk into the kitchen, I make my breakfast, I make my son's breakfast, I get him ready for school, I take him to school. I couldn't do any of that before. So it's really turned my life around.
I'm hoping that if I really get my confidence back, first of all, I'll start my walking, getting that going again. Secondly, if that all works well, my life will change completely, because we can go on holiday for one thing, for instance. It's literally a change of life.